Hello, my name is Robin Yergubian. I'm a counselor in the Transfer Center at Santa Rosa Junior College, and I am going to walk you through the CSU General Education breadth requirement. This is a pattern we often refer to as Option B, and it is going to set you up to complete your general ed toward CSUs. So the first thing I want to point out here up on top is that you will be completing through this pattern 39 of the required 48 units in general ed for the CSUs. What you'll see is that there would be another 9 units not accounted for on this sheet, because once you get to the CSU, you will complete 9 additional units of general ed, but it will be an upper division coursework, and that's how you get to your 48 units. In order to get into a CSU, you do not have to complete your general ed, meaning this sheet that I'm going to overview. But you do need to have at least 30 units of general ed coursework, and that must include Area A, right here, which is oral communication, written communication, and a critical thinking, as well as Area B4. B4 is a transfer level math course. You must complete those courses with C grades or better, or you can complete them with a P grade, pass, because here at SRJC, a pass grade equals a C grade or higher. So it's implied that you hit that C level or better. Let's go through the first section here, which is Area A, English Language Communication and Critical Thinking. You need to complete 9 units in this area. A1, the first area here, is oral communication. So you can take either COM 1 or COM 60. Now, prior to fall 2018, this was called Speech 1A or Speech 60. So if you see that on your transcript, you've already taken one of those classes, that still works. It will still be accepted. And then you need an Area A2, written communication, which can be satisfied using English 1A or ESL 10. A lot of times students will have an AP course from high school, like English Language Comp or Literature. And with the appropriate score, you can meet this area. And then coming over here to the right-hand side, you can see that you can track your progress. So if you have completed this with either a course at SRJC, elsewhere, or with an AP score, you can put a little check mark here in the box, and know it's done. And if something's in progress, you can track again that that's something you're working on, and then you can put a little mark under plan to see what's left, just to help you monitor your progress. Area A3 is critical thinking. This can be satisfied using COM 3, COM 9, English 5, Phil 3, or Phil 5. Again, there are some changes in fall 2018 in our current communications department where it was called speech. So you might see this from a while back before fall 2018 listed as Speech 3A or Speech 9. So if those are classes you took several years ago, those are still accepted in this area. Moving down to Area B, this is scientific inquiry and quantitative reasoning. You need 9 units in this area. So it's this entire area here, science and math. This one is outlined with a little asterisk here I'm going to get to. You need to have at least one Area B1 physical science, one B2 life science course, and then you need a lab course. The lab course, you want to read this thoroughly. It's really important that the lab course is attached to at least one of the lecture courses in the sciences. So if you were to take an Area B1 course like Astronomy 3, and an Area B2 course, such as Anthro 1, your lab course has to be either an astronomy lab or the Anthro lab, and there are some options in there. Some courses already have a lab embedded in the class, and you know that because there's a little asterisk next to the lecture course. Many times your major is going to determine what happens in this area. If you are a STEM major, science, tech, engineering, math, you're most likely going to have a lab course embedded in a class that's required for your major. So, for example, if you're a nursing major, you're going to be taking micro, and you can see that micro 5, micro 60, they already have a lab included. So you don't need to go take an extra lab class. But when you aren't in a STEM major, and you can select any physical science or any life science. You want to just make sure that at least one of the classes has a life science. Usually the major, which is, I'm going to bring this up one more time, the major does dictate a lot of what you do on the general ed sheet just in general. Now moving down to math, and this is another major specific area for many students, you need to have at least one transfer level math course. Chances are, if you are in a STEM major, meaning not a liberal arts major like humanities or arts or social sciences, you probably will need more than one math. So for example, a biology major, engineering, they're going to take, you take a whole bunch of math, but you need to at least, regardless of your major, have at least one transfer level math course. So for my STEM majors, you're probably going to end up taking calculus, and you'll be prepping it with perhaps a course like trig or pre-calc. So you might take more, but you'll have at least one met there. For example, a lot of business majors require Math 15 as major prep, so you will be taking that for your major, and it also meets this area B4 in general ed. Some majors, like history or English, probably don't care a whole lot about what math you take. So you can do a little research and determine which math course is most appealing to you, since your major is not going to dictate which to take. Coming down to Area C, this is the Arts and Humanities area. You need 9 units here, and you need to take at least one Area C1 Arts, one Area C2 Humanities course, and then the third course can come from either Arts or Humanities. So students will usually take either 2 Arts and a Humanities, or 2 Humanities and an Art. Now, a lot of times your major doesn't dictate this area unless you're obviously in an arts or humanities major. So you have lots of choices and you might not know exactly what to choose. This is where a bit of research within our schedule of classes and looking at course outlines is useful. So I'm going to show you what that research looks like. So I'm in the schedule of classes, and I'm going to select, just as an example, Humanities 4.2. So Humanities 4.2 is going to have a little bit of information right here on the top, a very, brief description of what the course entails, recommended preparation, transferability. But actually over in the upper right-hand corner of the screen is course outline. And course outline is going to give you so much more depth. What the course covers, the objectives, the scope, and actually a bit of how it's graded. So this gives you an idea of what the class entails, and you can start making a determination. Is that going to be really interesting to you? Are you going to be successful in that course? And give it some extra thought if you feel like, whoa, these are a lot of classes and it's overwhelming. Dig into the course descriptions to make a determination. Under Area D, this is social sciences, and you need 9 units within this area. It is required that you take at least 2 disciplines. So that means that you can select, you'll be selecting 3 courses, but they must come from at least 2 different disciplines. So as an example, you can't take 3 psych classes to meet this area. You can take 2 psych classes, but you got to take something else outside of psychology to meet the area. Your major might also dictate what to do in here. If you're a psych major, you're going to be taking Psych 1A. If you're an econ major, you're going to be taking Econ 1 and 2. So these are 2 courses that are required for your major, and they double count as general ed. So you'd pick up a 3rd course after Econ 1 and 2 for your major, a 3rd course in another discipline, and not only are 2 courses for the major complete, but 2 for GE, so you only need 1 more to go to complete this area of general ed. Then you need 1 Area E, Lifelong Learning and Self-Development course. I want to put just a little note out there explaining this notation. You'll see a little plus sign throughout the GE pattern. And what that means is some courses, like Child 10, are appearing in more than one place. It shows up in Area D and Area E, and you can't double dip in those areas, so you can only use Child 10 toward general ed in one or the other. So yes, you can double dip between major prep if the school is requiring you to take, the school to which you want to transfer is requiring you to take Econ 1 and 2, that can double count in GE. But you can't use one GE class toward another area of GE when you see this little notation, this little plus sign. Under the CSU graduation requirement in U.S. History, Constitution, and American Ideals, this entire box is not required for transfer. It is required to graduate from the CSU eventually. So you can go ahead and opt out of these classes until you get to the CSU, or, especially if you plan ahead, you can take them at the junior college, have them done. They can meet Area D. So you can see this is one of those cases where, the double counting is allowed. You can take one U.S. history class, and it will work in Area D. And you can take Political Science 1, but, and it'll count. It'll count as in Area D, as well as toward the CSU graduation requirement. So that's kind of nice if you can plan ahead. Down here on page 2, there are some notes about how to get certification and campus-specific notes. So to have your general ed fully certified, meaning when you get to the CSU, your 39 units have been met, and you know that you are done with all lower division general ed. The only general ed you would still need is that 9 units of upper division. So to certify, you would complete this, and when you put your transcript request together, you will ask for certification. That'll be a special button you click saying, "Please send my transcript with certification." Let's move down to some of these campus-specific notes. Before I do that, I just want to point out, AP credit is awarded in these various areas. Sometimes it's score dependent, but if you have AP credit, it's important to talk to a counselor about that. We can let you know how that credit will be distributed in your general ed and your units just toward overall transfer, and in some cases your major as well. So under these campus-specific notes, you want to read the fine print, because if you already have a college list in mind, you can plan ahead and get pretty creative about which classes will meet not only general ed and or your major, plus the campus's graduation requirements. So as an example, Chico is recommending that you take one of these classes to eventually graduate from them. So these are not necessarily admission requirements, but you can prep your 4-year plus graduation requirements early on. Let's use Sonoma State actually as an example. They want you to have an ethnic studies course. History 21 counts. History 21 will also count in Area D as one of your courses here. And it also counts as an overall CSU grad requirement in U.S. history. So that class alone will work in Area D, double count as the CSU graduation requirement and your ethnic studies requirement at Sonoma State. So talk about efficiency. And if you read the fine print, you can do that kind of planning ahead of time. Other things like Sacramento State would like you to have some foreign language proficiency. And this is where meeting with a counselor to determine what that looks like is important. Sometimes you can use your high school coursework to determine that. Not all majors want this, so you can see which major is exempt, but it just helps do some prior planning to make your plan as efficient as possible. I hope this helps as a starting point for you as you determine your general ed, and we look forward to serving you in the Transfer Center where you can make an appointment to go over this in more depth. Thanks so much.